The sheriff's office right now, the sheriff's office remains in the lead, which tells you that if this becomes a terror incident, one of the things that will indicate that that's happened is the FBI will take over the investigation from local authorities. Right now, it's still the Broward County Sheriff's Office in control of this investigation, but a whole lot of unanswered questions still, certainly about this shooter and what prompted it. You were asking about airport security changes. Well, certainly we saw the TSA had some failures with their screening process that came to light, about a year and a half ago, where they failed to detect weapons and things coming through checkpoints and inspector general tests. So there's been a real push from the TSA side at the checkpoints to improve staffing, to improve training, and to improve the understanding of how the equipment works, frankly, amongst their employees to catch things. So the TSA has made a concerted effort to improve the screening, and that was part of why we started to see longer lines of checkpoints over the summer, was the increased focus on screening. So you have that happening at the checkpoints. After Brussels, you saw a reevaluation of airport security across this country, and looking at the soft targets. And can you better secure them? The LAPD and the LA Airports Authority police, they have officers that check randomly cars coming into the airport. And that's sort of an extreme case. You don't see that at a lot of airports every day, but you see that at LAX. You've seen an increase in sort of the visibility of police. Fort Lauderdale, the Broward County Sheriff's Office, has officers, deputies, inside that airport. They have canines inside that airport. So the response time here was probably pretty quick because there are already officers in the general area. But you run into an issue with when it comes to a public place. How do you secure that in a way that's absolute? And you probably can't.
I just want to repeat what Chris Van Cleve, who is CBS News' transportation correspondent, has just shared with us, which is that as of this point, there is no indication that this was a terror event. No indication, according to law enforcement sources, that this was a terror event. Now, in order for that to be shared with the media, I'm just wondering, Chris, what kind of determination must have been made? You would think that since there is a suspect in custody, that perhaps investigators have been able to get some information from that suspect that leads them to this conclusion?
Yeah, so this is an early indication, and that is, as you're whatever maybe the suspect has said or hasn't said, a quick search of the background, and certainly all facts that we know them right now can change as this investigation goes on. But early indications are that this is going to remain a local matter for the time being, which means that there may not be a connection to terrorism. Of course, we are only an hour and a half from when this crime happened, so a lot can change here. But early indications are that the FBI isn't seeing those obvious links. That could change when they go and look at this guy's computer. And that certainly takes time. You've got to get search warrants, and all of those things are spinning up right now. They've identified the guy, so now they're going to go and get search warrants for his home, his car. They're going to go get his computer. They're going to analyze the computer. They're going to start talking to his friends and family and try to figure out what happened. Also, he may have said that, I got fired and I was angry at my boss. So there are things that we just don't know what they know yet, but early indications are skewing, at least initially, away from it being terrorism. That, of course, could change at any point based on what the FBI find.
Chris Van Cleve is with CBS News, kind enough to join us with that information. Chris, thank you very much. Please let us know if you hear anything else. Chris Van Cleve. Ted Scouten is on the ground at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. He's able to join us now. We actually just lost Ted. Of course, that's the way it works sometimes with live TV, but we'll reestablish the connection with Ted Scouten. I'm joined here in the studios by my colleague David Sutta, who has been tracking the story since it broke. Again, 12:55 this afternoon, so about an hour and a half or so ago is when the call came in to BSO of shots fired, and we are now being told by multiple law enforcement agencies telling CBS 4 News that 5 people are dead, that 8 people have been taken to the hospital with injuries, and that a shooter is in custody. We've been able to reestablish our connection with Ted Scouten. Ted, tell us where you are at the airport and what do you know?
Yeah, Rick, right now I am on level 2 of the airport, so this is a departure level. I'm between terminals 1 and 2. Delta Airlines, this is the terminal where all of it happened, Delta and Air Canada. You can see down there all the people still outside. They all came out of the jetway down into this area after that shooting happened. As you said, what we're hearing from multiple law enforcement sources, 5 people dead and multiple people injured in the shooting out here at the airport. Right now we're waiting for Broward Sheriff Scott Israel, to come out here and hold a news conference to give an update as to what the latest is. I can tell you, Rudy, if you can, try and shoot over to 595. We're going to show a shot of 595. I don't know if you can see it all that well over there right now, but 595, it is a mess when you're going to the east trying to get into the airport. They're not letting you in that area to get into the airport. You have to go around. We did see on Federal Highway very, very heavy traffic. However, they are still letting cars, they were letting cars come into the airport as of a little while ago. I'm not quite sure. I don't see much movement going on now. A few cars straggling through, but at any rate, if you have plans to come out to the airport, it's very difficult to try and get around out here. Again,
Ted, look over your shoulder. It appears as though people are running right now.
People are running right now. I don't know quite what's going on. Let's watch this for a second and see what's happening here. I'm not sure.
These are live pictures, again, from Chopper.
There's a BSO dog. There's a BSO dog right over there that they're running around. I'm not sure what they're looking for at this moment, but everyone ran really very quickly out here on the tarmac. There's more people running. If you look over over that way there, there's more people running right over there. Still not sure what's going on that's making everyone run at the moment. I see there's law enforcement out there waving people over to them over by a fire rescue unit, telling them all to come out. You can still see over there more people moving. Doesn't seem as urgent right now. I don't see people running at the moment. But all going over to the area where they're being directed by someone from fire rescue, over by a fire rescue unit.
Ted, why don't you see Ted, why don't you see what you're able to find out exactly why people would be running away? Because we had been watching over the last 20 or 25 minutes as people who had been evacuated onto the tarmac were suddenly being allowed to head back into. Go ahead.
Hang on just one second. One of our photographers, Claudia, what did you see? Speak close to the mic.
All of the police officers are running into the parking garage.
So we have police officers running into a parking garage. Let me see if I can see that from where I am. Yeah, let me see if I can find out what's going on. There have been. We did have another photographer shooting that over there. I don't know if you were able to see that back at the station or on the air.
Wow.
But a lot of officers running into the parking garage.
Well, this is a dramatic scene. This is Terminal 1, the Southwest Airlines terminal. After a shooting earlier at Terminal 2, which is the Delta terminal, you can see people now running very, very quickly from Terminal 1. We do not know exactly what's going on, but we see a lot of activity. We did see a BSO car streaming towards that terminal. Ted Scouten, who was at the airport, said that there had been reports of someone police officers heading towards a parking garage nearby. We apologize for the quality of the shot. Again, it's going in and out. We don't have much control over it, but this is a breaking, developing story unfolding right now at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport. We had been given an indication that that it was a lone shooter who was involved in the shooting earlier today around 12:50 at Terminal 2, and that shooter was in custody. So exactly what is causing people to now be evacuated and to run away yet again, and for police officers to be running towards the scene yet again, we are not clear. But again, we are told that there are multiple people dead from this initial shooting, multiple people injured, as we continue to try to figure out exactly what's going on. This is something we're hearing now from TSA. Sources at TSA telling our colleague Chris Van Cleve, who we were just speaking with a moment ago from CBS News, Broward County Sheriff Department is the lead investigating body in this incident. The incident did occur in a public area, not a secure area. Again, the baggage area, the baggage claim area is what we had been told was where the shooting took place earlier. That the terminal is currently being repopulated and the passengers are being rescreened. But that does not address exactly what we've been watching over the last couple of minutes, David Sutta, which is that people have been running away again very, very quickly from what we don't know.
This looks eerily similar to what we saw at the top of the hour, 1 o'clock, where people were running in sheer panic. And you got to put yourself in their shoes in the situation. We know a lot more probably than they know standing on the tarmac. Maybe on social media, maybe they're calling folks and trying to get information relayed to them. But still, you're caught in the situation. Who knows what you have seen if you were in that baggage claim area? And sometimes it's worse when you don't know what's going on. Your mind starts to wander. You see someone run, and this is a natural progression. Everybody just starts running because it's all about self-preservation of your family, and sort of, you want to get through this day. You want to be one of the people who walks away from this airport with your loved ones or gets to your loved ones. As we watch these live pictures right now, you can see everybody is no longer running, but it's still, we saw them all progressing towards the jetways, going up the jetways. They were actually going back into the terminal, and now it's the other situation. You have everyone back on the runway. They were running from, this is all happening around Terminal 2. Which is to the right of your screen of the aerial shot there. This is Delta, Air Canada, and that's where that's all occurring. You see some folks starting to walk that way, and then some people are stuck between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, Terminal 1 being Southwest Airlines. The airport is completely shut down right now. They are apparently no longer allowing for flights to take off from here. They've actually diverted a flight to MIA, the Delta flight, and at least one, that was about 20 minutes ago that we had heard. And MIA is actually apparently stepped up with extra precautions given what's happened here. This happened in a public space, in a baggage area, typically not an area that is heavily protected or guarded. Everyone is always looking at the threat coming towards the planes, not leaving the planes here. And as we look at live pictures here, this is an area where they were orderly moving people around, and now it seems to be quite chaotic, people all over the place. And clearly, this runway, this area where planes would normally be moving around, not activated. The north side was shut down some time ago, but the south side, you'd have to imagine as well, isn't seeing much traffic. It's unclear. We haven't been able to get confirmation from Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport of whether they're allowing planes to at least land here and sit on the tarmac while this all gets figured out. It seemed like we were heading towards some sort of orderly fashion of getting the airport back up and running. Things have changed dramatically in the last, I'd say, 10 minutes here. This is unusual activity. People are still very much on alert here, not calm, extremely concerned about the situation and what's going on. We've been assured, though, that by BSO, that the situation has been contained, that there was a lone gunman, that this person is in custody, and that they are not seeking out anyone else. However, Ted Scouten, our colleague, reporting that there was some sort of activity in the parking garage, that law enforcement was heading in that direction at the very last report we got from them.
We had heard from Chris Van Cleve, our colleague at CBS News, that there was no indication, according to law enforcement, that this was a terror event. We don't have any clarification or anything beyond that, other than the fact that law enforcement does not view this as a terror event. However, try telling that to the people who are running from on the tarmac right now. It is certainly a terrifying experience for them, to say the least. As we take a look at all of these people who look as though they are moving towards a particular area, you have to wonder if law enforcement is telling everyone to gather in a particular spot, because there is that cluster of people there. As we continue to take a look at planes that are just sitting there on the tarmac in line, ready for takeoff, that are not going anywhere. The airport has been closed right now as we take a look after this shooting at Terminal 2. A big backup that's going to take a long time to sort itself out, but obviously that is the least of the concerns of law enforcement right now, as they try to make sure that this airport is secure, and traffic there on the approach to the airport, entryways off of 595, as Chopper 4 sort of pans over north, around to the right is where people would exit if they wanted to get themselves to the airport. And it's really not a good idea if you are scheduled to travel today. In fact, you can see that is the ramp that people would take to get off of 595 and head over, and that ramp has been closed by law enforcement. So there is no one being allowed to go anywhere near the airport right now. And Broward Sheriff's is also asking anyone in Broward County not to tie up 911. You are being asked to call a non-emergency number if you have something going on. If it's a true emergency, obviously go ahead, but obviously law enforcement, Broward Sheriff's Office, have their hands full with the situation at the airport right now. So if you do not have a non-emergency, if you do not have an emergency, forgive me, call the non-emergency number, which is 954-764-4357. Ted Scouten is at the airport. And Ted, we were talking to you a few moments ago as all of a sudden in the background we saw people begin to scramble. What have you been able to find out?
Yeah, still not sure of what's going on with why people were scrambling from Terminal 2, but I want to send your attention over to Terminal 1. People evacuated Terminal 1. They all ran out of Terminal 1. Also, there is something going on in one of the garages here as well, the garage that's kind of in between Terminal 1 and 2 and Terminal 4. A lot of law enforcement is in there right now. So that's the focus of a lot of attention at the moment inside of the garage. Not quite sure what's going on. Airport officials aren't able to tell us what's happening over there right now, but they assure us that BSO is in there and trying to contain whatever the situation is. We don't know. Once again, though, you're looking at people that just ran out of Terminal 1. Concourse C. We saw them pouring out of the building and all onto the tarmac. There's still more people, if you can see out there, Rudy. There's a whole group of people going even further out. We see them on the move again. They're some people starting to run now.
People are running once again. Look at this. Look at this scene.
And now they're actually running. Some of them are running out toward the runway. That's the north runway here at the airport that they're running toward. Still not sure what the situation is. No one's really updating us right now. I see one of the airport public information people on their way out. But once again, you're watching people now all moving out toward the runway. This is the north runway. This is just on the outside of Concourse C, which is where United Airlines is, as well as Virgin America. Again, not sure what's going on there that's causing them to run out even further onto the tarmac and out to the runway itself. Also, another situation going on in the garage. We have another photographer over there shooting whatever is going on there. We did see a lot of police officers there. Are you able to give us any info?
I can't talk right now.
No, airport personnel are not able to tell us why people are running onto the runway right now. These are people who came out of Terminal 1. It looks like they're not only running onto the runway, they're running past the runway now, over to the northernmost taxiway, going over toward the cargo area on that side of the airport. At the moment, again, waiting for the Broward Sheriff to come over to give us an update, but a lot of things going on right now. Rick, what are you able to see from Chopper 4?
Well, we are seeing just an awful situation here, and I want to share people some information that we're getting from the National Security Council spokesperson Ned Price, who is telling us a little bit about what the White House is saying right now. President Obama, has been appraised this afternoon by the Assistant to the President for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism, Lisa Monaco, of the shooting at Fort Lauderdale Airport, and will be kept updated as the investigation unfolds. Also, President-elect Donald Trump tweeting out just moments ago, about 5 minutes ago, that he is monitoring. Go ahead, Ted.
We have more people now running. This is on the lower level. They're all running and crouching. They're all running and crouching behind a car over there. This is a direct eyesight from the garage. So I don't know if it's something from the garage that's going on, but everyone there obviously quite frightened as they're behind cars. Okay, now there's airport workers coming, or people with their hands up on their heads. They are now kneeling down next to a vehicle. You see them all there wearing the safety garb. They must have come out of the garage. Police looking like they're taking a position over there. Everyone is secured behind cars. There's one man laying on the ground. I'm not sure why. Oh, now over here. I'm not sure what's going on. Now we have more people running. This is on the tarmac side. They're running now over toward Terminal 2. Pardon our